Hello friends, in surface chemistry, today we will discuss about colloids, classification of colloids and preparation of lyophobic salts. First, what are colloids? In the lower classes you have discussed about true solution, suspension and colloid. I think you are familiar with this term. A colloid is a heterogeneous system in which size of particles lies between that of true solution and suspension. That is 1 and 1000 nanometer. True solution particle size is less than 1 nanometer. In case of suspension, particle size is more than 1000 nanometer, and in between particle size is there, then this is known as colloid. In case of solution, we are using the word solute and solvent. Clear? In case of colloid, these two terms are replaced by dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Simply, that is dispersion medium, the component which is in larger quantity, and the component which is in the lesser quantity, it is called dispersed phase. Colloidal particles have an enormous surface area per unit mass as a result of their small size. It can be explained with the help of this example. If we consider a cube with 1 centimeter side, then what is its surface area? This is 6 centimeter square. If it were divided equally into 10 raised to the power 12 cubes, the cubes would be the size of larger colloidal particles and have a total surface area of 60,000 centimeter square or 6 meter square. That's why we can say colloids have a larger surface area. Classification of colloids. Colloids are classified on the basis of following criteria. First one is physical state of dispersed phase and dispersion medium, nature of interaction between dispersed phase and dispersion medium, and types of particles of the dispersed phase. First we'll discuss classification based on physical state of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. If you remember, student, that is solutions also classified on the basis of physical state of solute and solvent in 9 categories. Clear? But these colloids are classified into the 8 categories. Okay, let us see. That is solid in solid. This is called solid cell. These are some colored glasses and gemstones. Solid in liquid, then this is known as sol. That is paints, cell, fluids. Sol, it can be easily remembered. That is solid in liquid. Okay. Then solid in gas, this is called aerosol, like smoke, dust. Liquid into solid, this is gel. This is just opposite to the sol, cheese and jellies. Liquid into liquid, emulsions, these are the important, like milk, hair cream, butter. Liquid into gas, this is again known as the aerosol, like fog, mist, cloud, insecticide spray. About these we will discuss in the next video. Gas into solid, this is called solid cell, like pumice stone, foam and rubber. This stone, pumice stone, I think you are familiar. This is used at your home for this purpose. Clear? Gas into liquid, this is known as foam, like this is froth, whipped cream. I think again you are familiar with this, which is used at the topping of cake. This is soft leather. Clear? Now this is the 8 categories is there, but gas into gas is not a colloid, because gas into gas is always homogeneous, while colloids are the heterogeneous. Out of these 8, most common are sol, that is solid in liquid. I told you it can be remembered SOL, solid in liquid. Its opposite, these are known as gels, liquid in solid, and liquid in liquid, these are the emulsions. These 3 are important among 8. If the dispersion medium is water, the sol is called aquasol or hydrosol. And if the dispersion medium is alcohol, then this is called alkosol. A gas mixed with another gas form a homogeneous mixture and hence is not a colloidal system. Now next classification. This is based on the nature of interaction between dispersed phase and dispersion medium. 2 categories, namely lyophobic, that is solvent attracting. Lyophilic, this is lyophilic, solvent attracting, and lyophobic, this is solvent repelling. If water is the dispersion medium, the terms used are hydrophilic and hydrophobic. That is hydrophilic, water attracting, hydrophobic, this is water repelling. Okay. Now let us see one by one. First one is lyophilic colloids, that is solvent loving. They are directly formed by substances like gum, gelatin, starch, rubber, etc. on mixing with a suitable liquid, that is dispersion medium. Formed directly. When we mix these gum, gelatin or starch into the water, we can obtain these lyophilic colloids. They are self-stabilizing. They are reversible sol. If by any method they are dried, then again we mix the dispersion medium, they will form. These salts are quite stable, cannot be easily coagulated. For example, like gums, gelatin, starch, albumin in water. These are the lyophilic colloids. Next one is the lyophobic colloids, that is solvent hating colloids. These are not formed directly. Some specific method is applied. We will discuss these methods later on. When metals and their sulfides simply mixed with dispersion medium, they do not form colloids. They can be prepared only by special methods. These salts are readily precipitated or coagulated on addition of small amounts of electrolytes or by heating or by shaking, and hence they are not stable. Lyophobic salts need stabilizing agent for their preservation. They are irreversible. For example, colloidal solution of gold, silver, ferric hydroxide, arsenic sulfide, etc. Now next, third classification, which is based on the type of particles of the dispersed phase, and again on this basis we can classify in the three categories: multimolecular, macromolecular and associated colloids. Let's see multimolecular colloids. Multimolecular, multi means many, consist of aggregates of a large number of atoms, or smaller molecules whose diameter is less than 1 nanometer. For example, gold sol may contain particles of various sizes having many atoms. It is many atoms which having the smaller size less than the colloidal particle size. When they aggregate, they form a particle in the range of colloidal size. Sulfur sol consists of particles containing thousands or more of S8 sulfur molecules. Clear? Next one is the macromolecular colloids. Again, name suggests macro means big, large. In these colloids, the molecules have sizes and dimensions comparable to colloidal particles. For examples, proteins, starch, cellulose, enzymes. These are naturally occurring macromolecules. Polythene, nylon, polystyrene, synthetic rubber, etc. These are man-made macromolecules. Now next one is associated colloids. These are some substances. There are some substances which at low concentrations behave as a normal strong electrolyte. Clear? But at higher concentrations exhibit colloidal behavior due to the formation of aggregates. The aggregated particles thus formed are micelles. I think again you are familiar with this term when you discuss the action of soap and detergent. Clear? Micelles. These are also known as associated colloids. For example, soap and synthetic detergents. The formation of micelles takes place only at a particular temperature, and that is called Kraft temperature, TK. We can write TK, Kraft temperature, and above a particular concentration called critical micelle concentration, CMC. Is it clear? That is, at the lower concentration they are the normal strong electrolyte, but at a particular concentration they behave as a colloidal. Okay. These colloids have both lyophobic and lyophilic parts. I think you are familiar with the structure of soap molecule. Just see, this is the one example of soap. Sodium stearate. Clear? This is the one example of soap molecule. Sodium stearate. This is COONA. Okay. And this is the hydrocarbon part from this to this. Okay. C17H35COONA. It can also be represented like this. Okay. We can divide this molecule into two parts. This is hydrophobic tail. It is hydrocarbon part, hydrophobic tail, and this part which is ionic in nature, this is called hydrophilic. This is head and this is tail. Okay, and soap molecule represented like this. Okay, this is hydrophilic head. When we dissolve in the water, and if concentration is low, then water, these soap molecules will arrange like this, in this way. These are the soap molecules. Arrangement of stearate ions on the surface of water at low concentration of soap. But if concentration is high, then these soap molecules, or we can say stearate ion or hydrophobic part of the soap, will arrange like this. This represents the hydrophobic part of the soap molecule, and this is the ionic part. Okay, this is called micelle. Is it clear? Arrangement of stearate ions inside the bulk of water at critical micelle concentration of soap. And I think you are familiar with the cleaning action of the soap molecule. Okay. Now, after discussing this, you must be able to compare the multimolecular colloids, macromolecular colloids, and associated colloids. Let us see one by one. Multimolecular colloids. They are found by aggregation of large number of atoms or molecules with diameter less than 1 nanometer. Macromolecular, formed by large sized molecules. Associated colloids, formed by aggregation of large number of ions in concentrated solution. These are lyophilic in nature. They are lyophobic in nature. They are both lyophilic and lyophobic. Molecular mass is intermediate. In this case, high molecular mass. This is high molecular mass. Held by the weak van der Waals force. In this case, held by stronger van der Waals forces due to the long chains. Van der Waals forces increases with increase in concentration. Is it clear? This is about classification of colloids. Now we'll discuss the preparation of lyophobic salt. Already we discussed they cannot be prepared by direct mixing. Some special method is required. We'll discuss about 3 methods. First one is chemical method. That is by chemical reaction, like double decomposition. In this we are preparing the arsenic sulfide salt. Oxidation, or we are preparing the sulfur salt. This is reduction. We'll get this AU. AU is symbol for gold, that is gold salt is a reduction by AuCl3. Hydrolysis, if FeCl3 is hydrolyzed, we will get the salt of ferric hydroxide. This is chemical method. Next one is electrical disintegration or Briggs arc method. Yeah. This process involves dispersion as well as condensation. Two phenomena are occurring at the same time, dispersion as well as condensation. Colloidal salts of metals such as gold, silver, platinum, etc. can be prepared by this method. What happens in this method? Electric arc is struck between electrodes of the metal immersed in the dispersion medium. Okay, now what is this electric arc? Okay, you can say this is the dispersion medium. In this case, we are taking these rods or electrodes of the metal from which we want to make the colloidal solution. Okay, and when this is connected to the electricity, again remember these two, positive and negative part is connected with the electrical supply, and both are in the same medium, then we can say this electrical arc is developed. And this electrical arc develops the intense heat which vaporize the metal and which then condenses to form particles of colloidal size. That is, first of all, due to this electric arc, vaporization of metal is taking place and these vapors will condense. Okay, and next, peptidization, last method of the preparation. The process of converting a precipitate into the colloidal salt by shaking it with dispersion medium in the presence of a small amount of electrolyte. Simply we can say a precipitate is converting into the colloid, and to make it stable we add the small amount of electrolyte. The electrolyte used for this purpose is called peptidizing agent. This method is applied generally to convert a freshly prepared precipitate into a colloidal salt. Okay students, thank you.